Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. Today we're going to feature two amazing games in German tanks. There's no excuses. In the E50 from the Tsars clan, shout out to you guys, is playing this game. This game that we just love to watch. Let's hope RNG is good to him in this game. That's what we all say, right? When we win, we had good RNG. When we lose, we had bad RNG. This game has a lot of RNG. Before you even start and see what's happening, the matchmaker decides who you're going to play against and who you're going to play with. You have no control over that. It's RNG, I guess. Then the game decides what map you will be on. You don't have control of that. You can block a couple of maps. You can try and control a little bit of that RNG, but the game decides what map you're going to get on. When you fire your gun, you aim your gun. The shot might hit bullseye, but it might deviate a little bit. I guess you could call that RNG. Now this E50 has an amazing, beautiful gun that hits me. This one doesn't have a lot of shot dispersion RNG. I'll tell you that much. This thing is amazing. Then if you hit the target, there's some RNG, and this is real RNG, where the game decides what your penetration is. You have a penetration for your shell, but it's the game says either plus 25% or minus 25% on that penetration, and anywhere in between. The game kind of decides that, which really affects whether you pen or not. And then if you do pen, then the game decides whether your damage is plus 25% or minus 25% or somewhere in between. So there's a lot of RNG. And still, with all that RNG, we fight our best and we try and prevail, and some players are good and some players are bad, and some players learn and some players don't. It's kind of like life and the universe. I propose to you, here we go guys, we're starting now, okay? I propose to you that really the universe, humanity, and everything about us, and all the species, and all the animals in the world, it's all RNG. We are here because of RNG. This game was developed by software engineers who had the mental faculties and the development of their brain so that they could do this. It is all because of RNG. Thousands of years ago, the human brain could not contemplate programming a video game where 30 people log in from various parts in the world and play in real time, fighting in pixel tanks represented on your screen with shots. Like it's crazy. We are intelligent as human beings accidentally. We are accidentally intelligent, and we've progressed to the point where we can spend our leisure time playing video games. Think about that. Klaus, what are you talking about? We're intelligent. I propose to you that other animals are also, it's all because of RNG. They're accidentally around. They accidentally survive. It's all RNG. Klaus, you're making no sense. Humans are smart, other animals are stupid. Animals live and behave based on instinct, but humans have the capability of thinking. We are different than animals. We've learned to get smart. We've had some smart people that have invented and discovered things over the ages, and we're smart enough to write it down and teach it to our kids, and therefore future generations of humans retain that knowledge, and as a species we've grown and become so advanced that we can contemplate traveling around the universe. Well, at least our solar system so far. And that's all true. And it happened randomly. But the question now is it the case that we are special and we are smart and animals are just behaving on instinct and we have the power of reason and somehow we are superior beings? Let's have a little discussion. Because I remember when I was a kid, I grew up in southern Ontario, and in those days when we were on summer holidays, we could just go out and play. There were no video games, there were no sitting around in front of computers like we're doing today. We were out there playing football and baseball and soccer and road hockey, and we were at the school ground, and we were wandering around getting into trouble. And that's where I first started appreciating nature. I remember when I was a little kid there, I was fascinated by these monarch butterflies that lived in southern Ontario in the summer. These beautiful butterflies. You guys know the monarch butterfly? Beautiful orange, big wings. And I would watch them flying around, and they would lay eggs on the milkweed plants, hundreds of eggs, and these caterpillars would come out, and there'd be all these caterpillars eating the leaves on these milkweed plants, and then the caterpillars, when they got big and fat, they would make a cocoon, and the cocoon would be there for a while, and I'd go and look at these cocoons, and then a couple of times I witnessed myself the cocoon breaking open, and out of the cocoon coming a new monarch butterfly, all damp and gooey and wet, and he'd crawl up the plant and sit in the sun, and the wings would grow, and there would be a new monarch butterfly would be born. And I remember the teacher in high school one day in science class or something told us the story of the monarch butterflies, how they emerge from their cocoons and they're born in southern Ontario, and then as the summer's ending, they make the journey. They fly from southern Ontario all the way down to a certain area in Mexico, where they stay for the winter, and then next spring they fly all the way back. And I thought, wow, that's incredible. How do they even know how to do that? And what I didn't know at the time, and what my teacher didn't tell me, and he probably didn't know either, is, bear with me, I know, we're postulating here, guys. We're being profound, okay? You got to concentrate. The one thing that I did not know, and maybe you guys don't know, is, and this is true, the monarch butterflies do this, but the monarch butterfly that takes off in southern Ontario and heads towards Mexico, that particular one is not the one who arrives in Mexico. The one that takes off from Ontario doesn't make it that far. He might make it into somewhere in the middle of Michigan somewhere. And he gets tired, he's getting old, and he has to stop. And he lays some eggs, and then there's some new caterpillars come out, and they make cocoons, and a crop of new butterflies is born there. And those guys keep flying south, and they make it to like North Carolina area, and then they get tired and old, and they stop, and they lay some more eggs, and then some more cocoons emerge, and the process keeps going, and then a new batch is born, and they fly down to somewhere southern Carolina, and then the next batch flies to somewhere Mississippi, Tennessee. I don't know my geography in the US very well, but eventually, after many generations, they all arrive. I use the word all, but think about it. They arrive in a certain area in Mexico, a small area where there's these certain trees where millions of them gather on these trees, and they spend time down there. And in the spring, they make the journey back. But it takes generations for them to go down there. And you ask yourself, how do they know? How could that possibly happen? Are they secretly smart like humans? And we explain it, that it's their instinct. Think about that for a minute. How do they do that? How does the one that's born in the one generation of butterfly that's born in North Carolina, how does he know that he has to keep going south? And then the ones that are born in Mexico, how do they know that they have to come back? How's it possible? I'll tell you how it is. It's RNG. They don't have reason and intelligence like us humans do. It's RNG. Do you want me to explain it? Are you thinking about it now? You're leaving some comments. You think you understand it? I'm going to explain it. You think about it. Let me know how you think it actually works in the comment section, but I'm going to explain it. What actually happens is what happens in this game a lot. It's just RNG. Speaking of RNG, Mr. E50, The game said you wouldn't spot the guy in the cap, which means you lose 11,901 damage, 8 kills. This is RNG. 96,000 plus 4,000 equals 151,000. That's Russian RNG. The truth, guys, is something that was described by Charles Darwin. He called it the theory of natural selection. He should have called it the theory of RNG. And what happens is, let's take the batch of butterflies that are born in southern Ontario. What they actually do is the hundreds of thousands or millions of them fly in random directions. They do. Some of them fly north and they go, oops, it's colder up here, and they die. Some fly east and they get to the Atlantic Ocean and they say, well, I can't go any further, and it gets cold, and they die. Some fly west and they get to the prairies and they can't find any more milkweed plants, and they die. The only ones that survive are the ones that go south, and they land somewhere that is good for them, and they survive. And then the next batch is born, and out of that next batch, they all fly in random directions. And the ones that fly back up north to Canada, they get to the frozen wet north, and they die. And that happens all the way down. It's all random, but the ones that head in the right direction survive, and the ones that head in the wrong direction die. The interesting thing is, it's so remarkable that scientists are trying to unravel, and it's so it happens in the minute genetic makeup of even the smallest animal. In the DNA, something gets embedded into the DNA of these animals where the ones that survive, in their DNA is the information of their existence is preserved and passed on. Whereas the one that flies north and dies, the information in that DNA is gone. So randomly, the ones that go in the right direction, and it's a random thing they do that is preferential for their survival, gets passed down through the generations. And after thousands and thousands of years, that species behaves in that pattern where the majority now of the ones that are born in southern Ontario head in the right direction. They have randomly evolved into behaving in a way that's advantageous for their survival. And I guess you could say they're getting smarter. The butterflies are getting smarter. And this is true for lots of animals. This is like it's a mind-boggling science. And the salmon, the eggs hatch in a river and they head out to the ocean and they spend 7 years in the ocean, and then they get the urge they want to go have sex with another salmon. Or no, they don't do that. They don't have sex. They just want to swim up the river and lay eggs and die. I don't know. They have the urge to do that because they're stupid. Well, how do they find the river where they were born at? Well, presumably a lot of them head in the wrong direction and they don't make it and they die. And those are removed from the gene pool. And the ones that make it back to the river, they are preserved in the gene pool. And how they find the river is a completely different story. They use the Earth's magnetic field, the inclination and the declination, to try and their brains can sense this. They're one of the few animals that can actually sense the Earth's magnetic field, just like we can sense the heat from the sun. And they're able to find the spot where they were born. It's incredible. But the point is, what am I getting at? I'm getting excited because I love this stuff. Hope you guys are enjoying this. But the question is it animals just evolve and exist and survive because of instinct? And humans are different? We're smart? It's not instinct for us. And now I'm going to propose to you that no, we are smart, and we have evolved to where we have evolved by accident, just by random RNG, just like all the other animals. Yes, we have. Because when a long time ago, many years ago, when we were stupid, before we invented tools, before we had fire, we were genuinely stupid. Our brains were smaller. If you look back in human history, which doesn't go back that far, it's only on the order of a few 100,000 years, our brains early on in our evolution were not capable of contemplating and using our mind to, for instance, program a video game. Neanderthal could not program World of Tanks, although some of you may in the comment section disagree and think that's exactly who's programming World of Tanks. But let me give you an example. Even if you go back only on the order of 10, 20,000 years, 50,000 years, humans from that period in the past, their brains were smaller. They could not contemplate the things that our brains can contemplate today. Why is that? Well, because one of the things that is advantageous for humans is our intelligence. And as we've evolved through time, going back to Neanderthal to today, our brains have constantly got bigger and become more capable of more and more complex thinking and computations and remembering and teaching. And that is because the smarter ones survived and the stupid ones died. So our random number generator, our RNG, was particularly related to our intelligence, whereas for the monarch butterfly, it was what direction do they fly. And as we've progressed and evolved, we've become smarter and smarter and smarter. Now we've accelerated that because we've gotten to the point where we're so smart, our brains have developed so much that we can actually accelerate the process by teaching complex things that have been discovered or contemplated by one particularly smart human 500 years ago. We can teach that to an average or stupid human that lives today. You follow what I'm saying? Sir Isaac Newton, years ago, saw the apple fall from the tree. Actually, I don't know if the apple actually did fall from the tree, but he contemplated and understood and proposed the concept of gravity and how it works. He was a really smart person that figured that out. And now an average stupid person in high school learns that. We don't have to relearn things as we go. We can pass complicated stuff that would otherwise be impossible for the average among us to understand. We can pass that on because we've learned how to write things down, how to remember them, and how to pass them on. We teach people. And in fact, there was a period in humans' history, the Dark Ages, where civilizations, our organizing skills in civilization fell apart, and it was all every man for himself for a while, and we lost all information. And for a period of hundreds and hundreds of years, I have no idea what the hell went on, and we went back to being stupid. And that would happen today as well, if all our information that we have stored, if we were no longer capable of teaching ourselves, teaching young kids things, we would revert back to being individually stupid rather than being, as a species, semi-intelligent. We'd revert back quite a ways. Think about it. If someone's born today and you never teach them anything, they never go to school, they're never educated, they're stupid. Their brains are still advanced to the point we are now, but they don't have any knowledge in there. So by the process of teaching even our average and stupid people things and carrying our knowledge forward, we're able to keep leapfrogging ahead because we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, although sometimes we do. And that's why we're accelerating our intelligence. But it all started and it all began just randomly. We're just randomly on the path that intelligence is our most important trait to propel our existence and our dominance as a species. And now you can even contemplate the fact that perhaps our intelligence is going to be the thing that destroys us as a species. We're going to get so intelligent and we're going to pass down so much information that eventually we'll get to the point where some smart people that figured something out like fusion or how the atom works or nuclear reactions can teach that to stupid people, and eventually you'll get to the point where an average moron can build a bomb. And that would be good for humans. Or average people that can't contemplate reaction to do something can create some sort of artificial intelligence that will be our demise. When high-powered intelligence ends up in the hands of the average morons, it's a recipe for disaster. So my point is, as a lowly animal like the monarch butterfly can evolve and eke out an existence on this planet just randomly based on RNG, so did humans. Just randomly based on RNG have we eked out our place on Earth. And our attribute that helped us propel as a species was intelligent, and for the monarch butterfly, the attribute that propelled them as a species was knowing which direction to fly. We're both here because of RNG. Now, speaking of RNG, the VK's dead. Did he play bad, or was it just bad RNG? Guys? What's the point of the video? There's no point. There's no point to the video. It's just me babbling. I guess the point is, don't feel so superior, or don't feel so much more important than an insect, because at the end of the day, you're here watching this video just accidentally. In the grandiose scheme of the world and the universe, you are here by mere accident because of RNG, just like the butterfly who's flying by your window right now. And just accidentally by RNG, the shot hit the track and didn't penetrate. And the AMX, even though he's a Muppet and doesn't shoot back, emerges without dying. Just randomly. The AMX M4 54 just accidentally emerged from that encounter as the victor. The E100 aimed. The E100 shot. No, it's balanced. Hit track wheel. RNG. No pet for you. And no matter what these guys do now. Look at it in the chat. 1811183. Why did you not go the other way? To relate to the question mark? FV215B183. Why didn't you go the other way? There's the object 261. There's a Waffenträger E100 there. The Waffenträger is being played by someone who only has tier 2 tanks, but he participated in this event and he earned himself a Waffenträger, but he doesn't know how to use it. The object 261 says, my ammunition is empty. The other artillery shoots him. The Death Star's rolling forward down the one line. There's the AMX. What's the AMX going to do? Is the AMX going to shoot him? The AMX doesn't want to shoot his gun. The artillery gets him. It's just a random shit show, guys. It's just a random shit show. Just like life, the universe, and everything. There's there's the Grille. Somehow they know he's here. They're shooting. The FV1 215B183 is just rolling forward on the 8 line. Oh, the Grille has exploded. Nobody can explain that. He's not detected. It's just RNG. And this was a randomly generated draw. Well, I went a little bit off the rails there, guys, but I think you got the point of the discussion is that, you know, don't feel so high and mighty and special, because at the end of the day, it's just a big shit show. That's the moral of the video. You could do 12,837 damage. And the Waffenträger can do 7,849 damage. And at the end of the day, it's just a draw.